Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great Thursday. Got a new microphone today, so let me know if it's terrible or if you like it better. But either way, thanks for watching. My name is Tony. Welcome to Under the Hood, where we're live every Thursday at 3 o'clock to answer your automotive questions. So feel free to comment any questions you have about a car problem, a car question, a repair you may be having done, if you want a second opinion, or maybe how something works. So comment them now. If you're not live, I'll get to them live next week. So before we get into today's topic, been working on something with a mystery maybe guest, possibly next week. We're still trying to work out a couple of things. So if you would like to see a surprise guest, I'm not going to say guy or girl, here on Facebook Live, comment yes. If we get 10, I think we can get them to come to the show. And also, when you comment yes or no, see if you'd rather have it here or I could go to them. Also, I don't know if you can broadcast two people at one time. I'll have to look into that, so I may play with my phone while we're live today towards the end to see if that's possible on my phone. But today what we're going to talk about is your check engine lights on for a gas cap code or Evap system. And what I normally get with our customers is they come in and the check engine light's on, and I tell them, hey, the light's on, let's scan it, see what's going on. And a lot of times I'll get, it's just my gas cap, just the Evap code or evaporative code. I'm not too concerned with it because my car runs fine, which is somewhat true. The Evap system, if you're not aware, just evaporative emissions is what the system I'm talking about. Basically, what it does is vapors, gas vapors, fuel vapors. Instead of releasing them into the atmosphere, causing smog and pollution, we store them, and at the right time, we burn them through the engine, which has been going on since the 70s. Since gas evaporates fast, we had to find a way to maybe control these fumes so we don't lose our gas over a certain period of time. Even worse, harm the environment. So about 2006, with the introduction of OBD2, we started actually capturing or creating monitors to control these fuel vapors. 96 we started them. By 2000, the government wanted us to do an even better job as far as leaks in the Evap system, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And mainly the heart of the Evap system, or what makes it possible, is we call it a charcoal canister. And what the charcoal canister does, it traps the fuel vapors, and what it has in is these little ball pellets, little BBs of charcoal, of carbon, and the vapors are stored in here. So it's like a sponge, this charcoal. And at certain times, what the engine does, it shuts some valves off, and it'll actually pull a vacuum on this canister and gets all the fuel vapors out of it and burns it through the engine. So without a charcoal canister, it's not possible. If not, it would just release into the atmosphere. One question I get a lot is, well, if the vapors are bad, then why don't we just have a completely sealed system? And the issue with that is we wouldn't be able to fuel the car. If the system was totally closed off, we release the gas cap and we start trying to fill it with gasoline, fuel's coming in, but there's no way for that air to come out. So that's why we have what we call a vent solenoid. So this is after the charcoal canister, and air can come through here and escape through. It has a little filter to prevent debris. The reason why it doesn't let vapors out is it's because it's after the charcoal canister. So the canister has already taken all the vapors out. So as you're fueling it, the air comes through here. If there's any vapors, it gets cleaned out, then releases them. Then of course it's vented into the atmosphere. So if you ever have a problem fueling gas, a lot of times this solenoid, which is normally open, can be stuck closed and you'll have trouble fueling. Another component would be the purge solenoid, which is typically located around the intake manifold. So we have our fuel vapor stored, and now the computer wants to release, to burn it through the engine. So what the computer will do is we'll close our vent valve and we'll open up this solenoid, the purge. And what it does is while your car's running, typically down the road on the throttle, it'll actually pulse modulate this solenoid to open it up. And the engine vacuum will pull the fumes into the engine and burn them out of the tailpipe. through the converter. That way we don't have any unburnt fuel vapors releasing into the atmosphere. Of course, the main component, number one component people always think is, say I have a code. Normally with the evaporator system codes, you get PO 440 up to PO 447. Could be a number of things, of vent solenoid codes, bad purge, but mainly a number one failure is not getting the gas cap tight. A lot of times you want to get 3 clicks. So say you go to a parts store, we have a customer that says, well, it's just a gas cap code. Well, they've been told that it could potentially be a lot of these components that is probably just a gas cap. So, you know, if it's not hurting my car, but the light's on, they just leave it on forever. But in reality, these things are, if it is truly the gas cap, they're only $30 or $40. So why run around with a light on that's supposed to alert you of a potential problem before it happens, just over a $40 part? So that always confuses me. There is testing involved. So there is a cost associated with evap testing because you have to have specialized equipment. This is a vapor. It's not like it's an oil leak where you can see it dripping. It's a fuel vapor. So I'll show you a couple machines on this vehicle here. We'll kind of go over the system. And if you have questions along the way, comment them. And at the end of the video, I'll talk to you about them. So we'll start with this vehicle here. In the background here is our smoke machine, is what we call it. And the reason why it's a smoke machine is it produces smoke. So if we want to test the system for a leak, we need a visual aid on where it's leaking. If we have a hose rupture, we need to know where it's leaking from. While that's warming up, I'll go ahead and take off this cover. And we actually have a service port. See if I can get in a little bit closer over here. Okay, I'll just bring the camera. So that purge valve I talked to you earlier about is located right here. It has air, the electrical connector. So when this purge valve opens, it gets pulls a vacuum on the system. We have a test port for our smoke machine. We'll take it off. And see, the smoke machine is warming up. And the first thing you do if you work on cars and you're playing with the smoke machine is you got to dance to it. But I'm not doing that. This one, you can use shop air and baby oil. Another way to smoke test it or create the smoke itself is actually nitrogen, inert gas. We'll get in there and can create the smoke. So I had the system smoking. Now what I need to do is, like before I said, that purge valve is open all the time. So what we have to do is close that purge valve, which is controlled by the engine computer. So we'll have to have a scan tool. Warm it up here. This is the Tech 2 while I'm loading up everything here. Used to be, well, it is a factory scan tool. Nowadays, everything's PC based, but this is our factory scan tool. This is what we use to get into computer systems. We use it as a pass-through device to actually program General Motors, all their computers. So we need to go to a special function with the fuel system, or what evap system, here you go. And there's our purge. So we actually have the ability to actually purge that valve if we want to question it. We can actually do both at one time, but we want to close off the vent solenoid. We have some data, you know, if we were testing the system, we're just going to go ahead and command it on, which means it's totally closed. So at this point, our system, if we have a leak, should be able to determine it. Now another thing about this machine is we have a gauge on here. So not only is it creating smoke, we have a gauge to determine if it does have a leak, what is the rate of a leak. Right now it's set at 20 thousandths of a leak. So if we didn't have a leak and it's below this, we know we don't have a leak. Right now we do. So you would go over all the components of the vehicle and see where it's coming from. On this one, I may have sabotaged it ahead of time. If a gas cap seal is not sealing, or it wasn't installed correctly, you know, we would know at that point. So when that light comes on, normally I don't like to fool with this gas cap because I want to know if it's truly leaking. If a customer left this off and I tighten it and I run that test and I don't see anything failing, you know, then I can't confirm the repair at this time. So I like to always check to see, you know, if it's something, maybe they left it off or you were in a hurry at the gas station and forgot to tighten your gas cap. Let me shut down everything here. So the common failures we typically see, like I said, number one is the gas cap because there's a seal around there, and they can potentially leak. So what you don't want, and I'll talk to you about this real quick. So you go to a parts store, your check engine light's on, they said you have a Evap system leak, and it could be a gas cap, so they sell you a gas cap. So this is an aftermarket locking gas cap. Never, ever, ever. So if you get one thing out of this video, never buy one of these if you have a newer car to test Evap systems, because they won't seal, they'll leak. They don't even really lock. Anyone can break into these. There's little tricks you can do with pliers. So always go with the OE or factory gas cap, even if it is the gas cap. So say you go to the parts store, you have an Evap leak, you put one of these gas caps on, light's still on, you bring it to us, we test the system, we find this leaking, so we replace it. Now all of a sudden we have a cost in, we retest it again. Now there's another problem in the system, which was the original problem that got hidden from putting like an aftermarket cap on. So always use factory when it comes to gas caps. As far as the other components, these solenoids fail a lot. More so the vent solenoid than we see with others. This is under the engine. When it opens, it just takes in fuel vapors and closes it. This one's more exposed underneath the car, so grime and dirt can get into these solenoids and break them down, and they have a tendency to fail a whole lot. When they fail open, you typically have a check engine light on with not a lot of problems, but when they fail closed, what you'll run into is you'll have trouble fueling the vehicle, which can give you a problem. So when it comes down to is my car going to run any worse with that light on? It can. If this solenoid gets stuck wide open, what it will do is your car can run lean and rich. It'll initially start off rich because it's drawing in fuel vapors uncalculated. So now all of a sudden it's going to run rich till we get all the vapors out. Then it'll start pulling lean because it's going to start pulling fresh air out of the vent solenoid. So when these two fail, that's when you can have a check engine light for an evaporative system problem and actually start having some engine performance problems. One recently we had was a Toyota, and the filler neck was just rotting out of it, as you can see, and that's what was causing its leaks on it. Well, like I said before, if you have any questions about the Evap system, feel free to let me know. Once again, next week, if you guys want to have a special guest, let me know. Comment yes. And like I said, we have 2 locations we can go on. If we like it here, we can do it here or there. So we're working out a couple things. If there's topics in next live you'd like us to go over, please let us know. So talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Drive safe. Bye.